How was that process working with somebody that you haven't worked with before, as far as the design and just the overall feel of the book?
Well, I mean, I think what anyone aspires to is to have like as much of a mind meld as you possibly can with your collaborators. But when you're not that, you wanna work so closely with your artists that it feels like you are the same person or you share the same vision. But having said that, I just wrote a script. Like initially, I had written full script for the first issue. I've now written full script for all four, and I didn't necessarily know who I would be sending it to when I wrote it. But once I met John, a big priority for me was like, I sent him an initial set of pages to do as samples. Uh, but I was also just eager to see like what our rapport was like and how easy it was to work and how responsive he was to communicate with, and was it just easy to understand each other? Was he a nice guy? I try to be a nice guy. Could we get along in that way? And long story short, he gets my scripts. He asks me any questions that he has. We often go back and forth throughout the issue over email. And every page he turns in just like exceeds my expectations. Like I kind of visualize like a 4, 5, 6 panel grid when I write the pages, but then he does these really dynamic layouts and takes it beyond anything that I had in mind. And I was telling someone else, and they were a little surprised. Like, we don't really do video calls or phone calls or anything like that. Everything happens over email, and we just pretty fluidly communicate with each other. And between the script and his talent and the email rapport, it just works out. He's in Manila, the Philippines, which is wild. I mean, and actually, considering my book takes place in the suburbs of Toronto, Canada, like
That's
typical American feeling suburb.
yeah.
It's amazed me how well he captures what I described. I mean, it far exceeded my expectations. Like, I gave him the script, and I thought at some point maybe he would say, "Hey, can you maybe send me a reference of Mississauga, which is my old neighborhood, suburb, or can you send me a reference of like a high school?" And he never asked me for anything, but he consistently just turned in pages that were like exactly like I remember the first one he gave me. There's a shot in the first issue, a page where the two kids are getting off of a school bus and walking through their neighborhood, and I'm like, wait, did I send him reference? Like, how did he know to make it look like that? But I think he just did his homework. And then in the second issue, which isn't out yet, he's actually got buildings exist in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And I'm
Hmm.
like, again, like, is that a coincidence? And he's like, no, I just Google mapped some streets and looked for interesting things. And so again, he's just blown me away with the work he's put into this.